Today, we're doing something a little bit different. I'm hitting the trails in Arizona, testing out the new Terra Kiger 5. I'm gonna run up that hill. I'm in town for work on a conference in Scottsdale, and I've been on this conference before. It's here every year. Last year I came out this way and I ended up finding this place and running up this peak. I'm going to call it a mountain. I'm not sure if it qualifies as a mountain or not. I'm currently at about 1,000 feet of elevation. I think I'll make it up to 2,000 feet of elevation by the time I'm done here. But I ran it last year in the Epic React, which goes to show you how much trail running I do. But this year, with a Terra Kiger 5, with a React midsole, in addition to having super gnarly nubs and a rock plate, I knew I get to have the shoe and try it out when I came back out again. .02 miles, 1,662 feet of vert in the Nike Terra Kiger 5 today. We're definitely not in Chicago anymore, as you could tell from the video footage that you saw today and from my surroundings in here. I'm currently in Scottsdale, Arizona on a work trip, but while I'm out here, I'm taking full advantage of the wonderful running that there is in this part of the country. Now, before I get to my thoughts on the Nike Terra Kiger 5, I want to go over some disclosures. The Terra Kiger 5 is a pair of shoes that was given to me by Roadrunner Sports when I was out there in San Diego a couple of weeks ago. But neither Roadrunner Sports nor Nike is paying me to make this video. They certainly didn't fly me out here for making this video. No one is going to get a chance to see any of my footage or hear any of my thoughts before you guys get to hear about it on YouTube. So what do we have here with the disclosures out of the way? What we have here in the shoe is a fantastic shoe made out of React foam as the midsole. There's a separated rock plate in here, and there are super gnarly lugs on the bottom that are made out of rubber. The upper is a mesh material that's really stretchy, covered with a little bit of a toe cap, and you've got a little bit of a Pegasus 35S flare in the back here as well. Overall, I think they just nailed it with the colors and the design of this shoe, it's just absolutely beautiful. Never have I wanted to run in a trail shoe until this. And I especially wanted to run in this one to take the same run, the same route, using React foam again, but this time in a trail shoe. And as far as I know, this is the first Nike trail shoe that has React foam in it, and it's absolutely marvelous. Running in this shoe felt really fantastic, and I'm seeing kind of design cues, technology, and other just language from other shoes that I've run in this shoe, and it's just a really great way that they've put all these things together. And so the design of the midsole visually reminds me a lot of the Pegasus 35, but the material, the all React midsole, certainly reminds me a lot of the Epic React that I ran this same, I'm going to call it a mountain, I don't know if it's technically a mountain, but I ran the same mountain in last year. But because it's React, it does also remind me a lot of the Vomero 14. And I think part of it is the lugs that are on the bottom. Now, the Vomero 14 for a road shoe has pretty nubby lugs, and you definitely can feel it as you're running on pavement in the Vomero 14. I had this on pavement for a little bit towards the end of my run today, and it definitely felt the same there. Now, in addition to the Vomero 14, in terms of the bottom feel on the outsole, the tongue is pretty much the exact same tongue on the Vomero 14. So if you thought the Vomero 14 tongue was too small or uncomfortable, you might not like this one. But for me, I thought it was just fine. I had a pair of Nike Elite No-Show socks on, and this came up above the front of my sock, and I thought I might be getting some chafing there by the end of the run, but it turned out being fine. It reminds me a lot of like a soccer cleat in the way it fits and feels. It's a little bit padded, so you can tie the laces down a little bit tighter, so you get locked down on the foot. Now, the way that the lacing system kind of buries into the shoe at the forefoot in this X pattern also reminds me of the Gakuso Turbo that I ran in, a shoe that I think is beautiful, but not the most ergonomic shoe that I've ever run in. So I was a little bit concerned about that in the Terra Kiger, but in the way that they use it in this shoe, it just feels fantastic. I didn't have any of the issues that I had in the Gakuso Turbo that I had here, so definitely felt good there. In terms of where the shoe hugs your ankle and heel, this felt snug enough for me as my ankle was kind of moving all around, all over the place, running up and down the hills today. So absolutely felt fantastic in this shoe. I already beat it up a little bit. I've got some scuffs and dings in here already to prove it, but feeling really good about it. I'm going to be here for another couple days, so I should get at least 2 more runs while I'm out here in Arizona, and I'll be putting the Terra Kiger 5 through some more paces. I have a feeling that it's gonna fare a lot better on these hills than I do. Like I mentioned earlier in the video, got 1,600 feet of vertical climbing in today. My typical run as I run along the lakefront in Chicago is about 20 feet. And so this is quite a departure from what I'm used to. I'm still having a really hard time figuring out how to kind of pace myself going up these really long, steep inclines, but I'm having a good time messing it up and figuring it out and taking breaks and just going at it and having a fantastic time out there on the trails. The miles flew by, and I'm just absolutely loving running in the Terra Kiger 5 and also just being out in this absolutely beautiful, spectacular scenery. So those are my thoughts on the Terra Kiger 5 after just my first run. I'll be putting more miles into it later and giving you more detailed thoughts kind of as we go. But if you've run in the Terra Kiger 5 or previous iterations of the Terra Kiger, let me know what you think in the comments down below. I would love to talk to you guys down there. But before I go today, I do want to remind you guys about the charity runner for this week. It's Courtney Smyth, who ran the London Marathon in 2 hours and 54 minutes and raised money for Severn Hospice, the hospice that took care of his stepmother before she passed. I've donated 70 pounds to Courtney's fundraising efforts, and I'll post links in the description in case you'd like to learn more. That's all I have for today's video, everybody. Thanks so much for making it to the end, and I will see you guys tomorrow.
Yo, what's going on?